Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is Eisenherz and today I want to talk about something that's quite uncommon in cEDH but sees a ton of play in casual EDH and other formats like Pauper. I'm of course talking about tribal decks. Personally, I love tribal decks. I play a lot of them in Pauper, but unfortunately they aren't really viable in cEDH, right? Well, generally speaking, that's right. Tribal decks aren't really viable in cEDH, with the exception of maybe Marvin the Nurturer, which is probably the only real tribal deck in cEDH. But there are quite a few cEDH decks that have a strong tribal sub-theme. So if you love tribal as much as I do and want to play a tribal deck in cEDH, here are 4 cEDH decks with a strong tribal sub-theme that can fix your itch. Let's get started. The first deck I have for you today is Grenzo. I actually played this deck for quite a while myself, and I really loved it. Grenzo is a Rakdos commander that allows you to cheat creatures into play from the bottom of your library, which allows you to do some very crazy goblin shenanigans. One card that's pretty much in every Grenzo deck is Doomsday. With Grenzo in play, you cast Doomsday and create a pile of 5 cards. Now, because Grenzo cracks the piles from the bottom, you also have to create your piles upside down. Let me show you some of these piles because they are super fun. The first one from top to bottom is Zealous Conscripts, Goblin Sledder, Kiki-Jiki and Dockside Extortionist. The second one from top to bottom is Metallic Mimic, Skirk Prospector, Murderous Redcap, Kiki-Jiki and Dockside Extortionist. And the third one from top to bottom is Torch Courier, Kiki-Jiki, Mock Fanatic, Conspicuous Snoop and Dockside Extortionist. This last pile also leads us to another one-card combo that sees play in some Grenzo lists. It also requires you to make a pile and is highly focused around goblins, and that card is Goblin Recruiter. You cast the Goblin Recruiter and make a pile of the following goblins: Conspicuous Snoop, Torch Courier, Kiki-Jiki and Mock Fanatic. Another recruiter pile would be Skirk Prospector, Torch Courier, Kiki-Jiki, Murderous Redcap and Goblin Engineer. For this pile you also need Metallic Mimic inside of your library. Another way to win with Grenzo is by looping Corpse Dance, Skirk Prospector and Dockside Extortionist. This will allow you to create infinite treasure tokens, which will give you infinite mana to dump into Grenzo's activated ability to cheat all your creatures into play. Trust me, this deck is incredibly fun to play. Sure, there might be some dead cards in it and the recruiter pile is a little bit clunky because you can't crack it, but it's super fun and you're also playing cEDH with goblins and winning games, so that's a very good reason in my opinion to play this deck. Just give it a shot. The second deck I have for you today is Inalla. Inalla is probably my favorite Grixis commander because it has a different approach to Grixis. Instead of the usual Turbonos stuff, it uses Inalla's Eminence ability with very powerful wizards to abuse their ETB triggers. The most common line involves Spellseeker. It's pretty complex and has around 20-25 steps, but all you need is a Spellseeker ETB on the stack and 1 floating black mana. If you can remember all the steps and have the right cards in your deck, you will get infinite black mana, infinite red mana and infinite hasty Scholar of the Ages tokens. Another line Inalla enables is with Dockside Extortionist and Aether Adept. You loop both creatures to create infinite Aether Adept tokens with haste and swing for lethal. And if that's still not enough for you, you can also run Ruthless Technomancer and Bloodline Necromancer with Inalla to make infinite hasty tokens of both creatures and infinite treasure tokens. But wait, there is more. Ruthless Technomancer also combos with Dockside Extortionist to make infinite Ruthless Technomancer tokens and infinite treasure tokens. That's gotta be it, right? Nope. Grixis, Wizards, Dual Custom Mage. Dual Custom Mage doesn't see play in a lot of Inalla lists, but it's also a wizard, and Grixis color identity allows you to combo it with a lot of cards. The usual Twin Flame and Heat Shimmer, but also the newly printed Saw in Half, and because you can play blue, you can use Ghostly Flicker as another combo piece with Dual Caster Mage. That's a lot of wizardry in one deck. I just love it. And you know what else is cool about Inalla? Thassa's Oracle is actually a wizard. And although I hate that card, it being a wizard makes it fit really well into this deck. But now let's continue with the next list. Yuriko is a Dimir ninja commander that forgoes the command text with its commander ninjutsu ability, and it also reads, whenever a ninja deals combat damage to a player, reveal the top card of your library, you may put it into your hand, and each opponent loses life equal to the card's converted mana cost. So not only does Yuriko basically draw you a ton of cards, it also can deal a ton of damage to all of your opponents. This synergizes very well with top deck manipulation in order to put high CMC cards on the top of your library, but it also gets a lot stronger the more playable ninjas you have in your deck, because they also trigger Yuriko. Oh, and well, what did the last set give us? A lot of new ninjas to play with. Kamigawa Neon Dynasty had at least 3 new ninjas that are playable in Yuriko and gave her a huge power boost. And of course, there were ninjas before Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, like Ninjas of the Deep Hours or Sakashima's Student. Sure, it's not like the deck is packed with ninjas, but ninjas play a crucial role in it, and the deck is incredibly strong. So if you like the tribe, Yuriko is the perfect deck for you to play in cEDH. The last deck I have for you today is one that's getting a lot of attention right now because it won the Marquesa tournament with a 7-0 finish. Magda is a mono-red toolbox commander that utilizes dwarfs in order to create treasure tokens and then sacrifices those treasure tokens to tutor up utility artifacts or dragons directly into play. It combos with Clock of Omens and any dwarf that's also an artifact, so something like Universal Automaton or Metallic Mimic. And once you have infinite treasure tokens, you can tutor up artifacts that allow you to win the game. This deck really went under the radar. Not a lot of people expected a mono-red deck to be such a threat, and they were proven wrong. It finished 7-0, and the deck will never be underestimated again. So if you want to play dwarves, win with infinite treasures, pyrite spellbomb loops, or with huge dragons, Magda is the deck for you. And let's not forget that Magda's showcase art looks brutal as hell. And that's it, 4 decks to fix your itch for tribal in cEDH. As always, you guys can find all the links to the decks I mentioned in the description box down below. If you are interested in other pseudo-tribal cEDH decks, maybe check out Marvin, Tiamat, Sign of the Ur-Dragon or Catilda. These will all be very valid options if you want to play some tribal stuff in cEDH. And with that, I'm out. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, share the video, and of course, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This is Eisenherz and auf Wiedersehen.